Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I am here to do the television tag. This tag was originally created by Kaylee Hyde, who has a fantastic YouTube channel that I highly recommend that you check out, and since I've been enjoying talking about TV more on my channel, I figured I should just cover, like, as much TV as possible in one video, and this tag is definitely a good way to do that. So I have 12 questions to answer all about TV that I love or don't love. You'll just have to find out, and let's get started. Question 1 is, what are some of your favorite shows? So I did a video on this about a year ago, and at this point I think it's somewhat outdated. There are definitely shows on there that would no longer be on that list. But some of my favorites do definitely include Pushing Daisies, which is my favorite show of all time, Doctor Who, Friends, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Legend of Korra, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Sense8. Those are a few of my favorite shows. I love them all so much. Question 2 is, what is your favorite genre? So my answer for this is basically just genre television, which kind of includes like fantasy, sci-fi, paranormal, any of that kind of stuff. And after that, my favorite kind of show are sitcoms. I think that basically my entire favorite shows list is just made up of these two kinds of television. Yeah, looking at my list, can confirm. Fantasy, sci-fi shows, and sitcoms. That's my jam. That's what I love. Question 3 is, what is your least favorite TV show? I guess my easy answer for this would probably be The Big Bang Theory. I really hate The Big Bang Theory, and I have watched multiple, like, super long videos breaking down why it's super harmful to our culture at large. I just have a lot of frustration with that show's portrayal of women, and with its portrayal of geek culture, which is less offensive but still makes me really angry, because, like, going home and saying you're watching Star Wars isn't a punchline, it's just an activity, and I wish that it would work harder if it's going to do geek humor. Question 4 is your most rewatched show or your favorite show to binge watch. I think the show I picked counts for both of these questions, and that is Friends! I have watched Friends more than any other show I've ever watched. Like, first of all, I grew up watching it because it was my mom's favorite show. The show started, like, 6 months before I was born, and so I just have always been watching Friends. But since then, I've rewatched my full box set so many times. Plus, some channel is always showing Friends, and so when I was at school, whenever it got late at night, me and Janelle would just watch Friends over and over again. I have watched Friends so many times. I don't think any other show will ever touch it. Question 5, do you prefer binge-watching shows or watching shows week to week? So I definitely prefer binge-watching. I can count on one hand the shows that I have watched week to week from the beginning. Like, I'm pretty sure the only 2 shows I have ever watched week to week, their full run, were Lost and Psych. And I think that's it. The other half of this question, though, is that I love binge watching, but I get so angry when I binge watch something and then catch up on it. It's the worst feeling, and I just keep doing it to myself. Like, this aspect of my personality started way back when I was watching sci-fi shows like Eureka and Warehouse 13, and then I caught up on those, and that was terrible, and I had to watch them week to week. It happened when I watched Doctor Who. That was real sad. It happened when I watched Supernatural, and then watching it week to week, I don't know if the show just got, like, a lot worse. Okay, I know that it got a lot worse, but going from binge watching it to watching it week to week ruined Supernatural for me. And it's currently happening to me with The Good Place and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's really terrible. I hate it. I'm so against it. I just want to keep watching them constantly on repeat forever. So binge watching, but it also makes me sad. For question 6, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite TV characters. I have such an extensive list. I hope you're ready for it. So my number 1 favorite TV character of all time is Willow Rosenberg from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I've talked about her in so many videos. Janelle and I both talked about her in our favorite female characters video, where we also talk about Buffy, who is another of my favorite female characters. I also have a ton of love for Castiel from Supernatural. Even though I don't watch the show anymore, Cass is always just going to be one of my favorite characters. He's what made me watch for as long as I did. It was because of how much I love Castiel, and Dean is my other favorite character from Supernatural. I love Dean Winchester. They're both so good. I love Korra from Legend of Korra so much. She's wonderful. Rose Tyler from Doctor Who, she is always going to be, like, my companion. Because she was the first companion I ever watched, I'll never let her go, but also I think that Rose has such good character development. I also love Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation. I think that she's a fantastic character, and so is Ben. Like, Ben Wyatt is magical, and I love him. There's the pie maker from Pushing Daisies, who's an adorable angel. There's Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh my god, do I love Holt. I love Arya and Sansa from Game of Thrones. I hope that they conquer Westeros together. There's Jessica Jones, because Jessica Jones is my favorite Marvel show. I think it's excellent. There's Usagi, or Sailor Moon, from Sailor Moon. I love the Sailor Scouts. They're all great, but I love Usagi, of course, the most. I love CJ Craig from The West Wing. Oh, I love CJ. My favorite character from Stranger Things is easily Hopper. Like, no other character even comes close to touching Hopper, except possibly Steve. In season 2. Like, I already loved him in season 1. Yeah, I was there early. I really need to finish off this list. The last two that are favorite characters are Nomi and Leto, both from Sense8. They just finished filming the, finale of Sense8, and I'm real emotional about it. Question 7, favorite TV ships. So we're gonna talk some, canon ships, and then we're gonna talk about some not canon ships. So canon ships I love include, Leslie and Ben from Parks and Recreation. What a joy, what a couple. There's Korra and Asami from Legend of Korra, and Willow and Tara from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, both of which are relationships that were super influential to me when I was, addressing my sexuality and coming out. Those two relationships were essential. There's Leto and Hernando in Sense8. They are so supportive and wonderful for each other, and I love them. There's Jake and Amy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know how that show made me care about Jake and Amy so much, but oh, did it. If we're gonna talk about my top 2 favorite shows, The Pie Maker and Chuck are such, an OG relationship that I was into and so deeply invested in. That show started in 2007, which is around when I started watching it, and oh, I watched the full run of Pushing Daisies live. Huh. But yeah, I was 12 when I watched Pushing Daisies, or when it started, and I was very excited for them. I loved them. And also Rose and the Doctor. I'm inclined to say Rose and the 10th Doctor, but I feel personally that watching Rose and the 10th Doctor and their relationship without watching Rose and the 9th Doctor's relationship, just, they retract from one another unless you experience both, because they both inform the relationship that Rose has with the Doctor so much. I love them. Okay, we should talk non-canon ships now. My absolute ultimate non-canon relationship in all of television is, and always will be, Dean and Castiel from Supernatural. You guys know this. If you've ever watched me talk about TV before, I've probably talked about the fact that nothing is ever gonna beat Dean and Cass. Did you know that they love each other? They love each other so much. I stopped watching Supernatural, but I still keep up to date on what's happening week to week, because I still want to know what's happening with Dean and Cass, and how much they love each other. I was a super huge shipper of Sansa and Marjorie on Game of Thrones. They just both needed a loving girlfriend so badly. Merlin and Arthur from Merlin, that was a big one. I loved Merlin and Arthur. I wrote fic for them, which is weird because the only other couple I've ever written a lot of fic for was Dean and Cass, but I love Merlin and Arthur, and those two guys loved each other in a romantical fashion, okay? Shows currently airing with relationships that I'm kiss already include Jessica and Trish from Jessica Jones. Kiss, guys. Just kiss. Also, Eleanor and Tahani from The Good Place. Just let them kiss. Bye, Eleanor, for the win. Come on. They would be great. I ship Matt Murdock and Making Good Decisions, but I don't know if that will ever become canon, sadly. And this isn't a specific person that I'm shipping her with, but can we just give Rosa Diaz a girlfriend already? Please. Please. That's all I'm asking. Just give Rosa a girlfriend. Question 8. A show you could never get into. I think the only show I have for this question is Penny Dreadful. I feel like if there's a show I don't like, I generally give it one episode and abandon it, and I don't even remember that I've watched that one episode. So Penny Dreadful, I got through 3 episodes and then just decided it wasn't for me, and I've kind of abandoned it now. Question 9. Shows you fell out of love with. Ooh, okay. So as previously mentioned, I fell out of love pretty hard with Supernatural. Starting in season 9, I watched season 9 and season 10, and at the end of season 10, I went, absolutely not, and I don't watch it anymore. I will rewatch earlier episodes. I've never tried to rewatch the whole show of, seasons 1 through 8, which I really like. But, yeah, season 9 forward kind of ruined that show for me. I fell out of love with Once Upon a Time. I don't know if I was ever truly in love with Once Upon a Time. I remember liking the first season, but after watching it for like 4 or 5 seasons, I can't remember a time when I would have gotten something out of it that I enjoyed. It just feels so long ago. I fell out of love with Orange is the New Black. It did a thing that I could not forgive it for, so I just never went back and tried to watch it again. I definitely fell out of love with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I'm still gonna try to watch the 3rd season, but I just thought that the quality shift from season 1 to season 2 was so drastic that I haven't been watching season 3 live, and I'm just gonna wait until eventually it's on like Netflix, and then I'll try it out, see if maybe it comes back at all. I fell out of love with Community, but that wasn't even so much the fault of the show as it was with the shifting cast. I think once they lost Donald Glover, there was just no point anymore. I think he was, like, if not the strongest part of the show, the thing holding it together, and without him, I just really didn't care anymore, and I didn't think it had the wonderfulness that it used to. And I fell out of love with Orphan Black because they introduced male clones, and that's not why I was watching Orphan Black. Question 10, TV shows that were canceled too soon. Obviously Pushing Daisies is my forever answer for this question. It was canceled far too soon, and I'm upset about it forever. And another Brian Fuller show that got canceled too soon was Hannibal. I think if they'd gotten one more season out of that, I think it would have been real special. I think it deserved one more season. Oh, and Sense8. I am angry at Netflix, okay? Sense8 should have run for so many seasons. And I'm, like, glad that we get the special to tie everything up, and if we hadn't, I would be, like, inconsolable. But we deserved so many seasons of Sense8, and I'm real pissed that Netflix just didn't advertise Sense8, didn't try to make anyone watch it, and then they were like, oh, no one watched our show, let's cancel it, go! Question 11, guilty pleasure shows. I don't really believe in guilty pleasure shows. I think you should enjoy the things you enjoy. Having said that, I guess the closest I could come to guilty pleasure stuff is Hannibal, which, like, it's a good show, but I think I was watching it for guilty pleasure reasons. Like, I think it was well made, but it's also on another level of pretension, and I still enjoyed it. I think it's fun. Also, Downton Abbey might be the closest you could come to a guilty pleasure, because again, I love Downton Abbey. I watched the whole thing, cried multiple times. I think it's a great show, but it did feel kind of like watching a historical soap opera, which is fine. But yeah. And question 12, what are you currently watching? I, as usual, am watching so many things because I have no chill and I can't just watch one thing ever. I'm currently rewatching 3 shows? Am I rewatching 3 shows? Yes. I'm currently rewatching Community. My sister's never seen it, so we're watching it with her for the first time, which is fun. And then once we get to, you know, the end where it starts being less good, then I'll just stop rewatching. I'm also rewatching Parks and Recreation, which is making me really, really happy. But again, don't know if I'm gonna watch the last season because I think the last season of Parks and Recreation is a huge mess. And I am rewatching Buffy, but like 1 episode a week. Really chill rewatch of Buffy happening. What am I currently watching for the first time? Well, I just barely finished watching Stranger Things, so I feel like I should slide that in here. Just barely finished season 2 of Stranger Things. Good stuff. I'm also watching, week to week, my least favorite, The Good Place and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They're both really, really excellent, and I'm sad because The Good Place is on break right now, and I'm angry about it. I also just started watching a Hulu original show called Harlots, which is nothing like any show I would normally watch, but I'm super into it, and so hopefully that will continue to entertain me. What shows did I fail to talk about in this rundown of things that I love? You got some shows mentioned in passing, like Eureka, Warehouse 13, The West Wing, Lost. I love all of those. Also, I like Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Kind of mentioned those in passing too. What didn't I talk about at all though? Glow, the Netflix original show. I think that one was a ton of fun. I talked about Legend of Korra, but I didn't talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Legend of Korra, I like more just because it was so important to me at that time in my life, but I adore Avatar: The Last Airbender. Oh, I also didn't talk about The Magicians. I've only watched 1 season of The Magicians, but I am very into it, and basically The Magicians is the only thing I'm holding on to as far as hope goes for the Raven Cycle, like, TV adaptation, because The Magicians is an adapted show on the Sci-Fi Channel, and that's what the Raven Cycle is going to be. Like, The Magicians isn't perfect, but it gives me so much more hope than any other thing would if the Raven Cycle had ended up on any other channel. So I do love The Magicians. I've only seen the first season because the second season hasn't been uploaded to Netflix yet, but as soon as it is, binging through that. Okay guys, there you go. That was the television tag. I hoped you enjoyed hearing me, like, babble on a little bit incoherently for a while about TV shows that I love and hate, and characters I love and hate, and relationships. I love TV so very much. In the comments below, please let me know what TV shows you are currently watching. I'm interested to hear what you're tuning into right now. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!